Welcome back to another lesson. I want to begin giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS, our leadership, and peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, the holy elect remnant, which begins with 144,000. Also includes the rest of the one-third men, women, and children of the house of Jacob, the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's on this earth today. Predestined for salvation, predestined to be the first fruits of the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth, where the law, statutes, and commandments are pushed forth, all right, beginning in the Holy Land, and they're going to push forth throughout the rest of the earth. There will be no more of heathen rulership, idols, falsehoods ruling the earth, which the Bible prophesied, falsehoods would began by the so-called white man. They would be loosed and they would deceive the world, and that's what they did. And they pretty much came into power beginning with a figure known in history as Alexander the Great, and that's what we're going to talk about. Because Alexander the Great he was a descendant of Esau, and he was prophesied to coming to actually literally to come into the earth and do what he did, which was conquer, and make his name in history. And we're going to talk about that because he was prophecy. And Apostle Paul said the prophecy edifieth. So, I was watching this Netflix special called Alexander, the Making of a God. I recommend checking it out. It's pretty good. And Alexander, who was a young prince, his father was killed, and then he ended up becoming the king of Macedon, and he was inspired because to him, in his mind, the Persians did it. So he was inspired to go and get back at the Persians, and the Persians had a very large empire at that time. And he started winning. He had military battles with him in his army, and he went to Egypt. And the Egyptian priestess basically told him that he was actually a god. He was the son of Zeus. He was pretty much the son of Zeus. So, he was even more inspired to do what he did, which was take down Darius, because there was a point where he had them pretty much conquered all of Western Asia, and Darius was trying to make a deal with him, like, hey, Alexander already got his wife and his daughter. He's like, hey man, you can keep the land that you have. Let's just call a truce now and end this. And Alexander wasn't satisfied. I was like, nah, because even his generals was like, man, hey, yeah, that's a good deal. And Alexander was like, nah, we going. And his men was like, damn, like, because they were outnumbered. The Persians had more people, and Alexander didn't back down. And ultimately, the Lord was with him. The Lord was with him because he would fulfill, the prophecies. All right, so let's get into the prophecy of Alexander now. Let's go to Daniel, the 8th chapter. Daniel 8:1. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me Daniel, after that which appeared unto me the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai. And so in modern terms, this is pretty much Iran. He was pretty much Daniel was in Iran, somewhere around Iran, India, that little region there. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. All right, so this is representative of the Medo-Persian Empire. The higher horn that came last represented the Persians, because the Medes were up first, and they ended up becoming a joint empire. But the Persians had the greater portion of the empire, and they came after the Medes. Verse 4, I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward. So that's the Medo-Persian Empire conquering. It went west, it conquered Babylon. It went north, it conquered Lydia, and then it went south, it conquered Egypt. All right, it says, so that no beast might stand before him, which the beasts represent the other nations, that the people that were being conquered, Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. All right, verse 5. And as I was considering, behold, an he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. So this goat represents the goat represents the Greeks in general. Now the notable horn between his eyes represents Alexander. All right, so let's look at this clip. Let's look at a little bit of it.
A war is coming. So fierce. So apocalyptic. It will split the world in two.
Our king, my father, lies dead, and the hand of Persia is to blame.
Let's make an example of this boy. Threaten Persia, and he won't live to try again.
It is time you know your true identity, Alexander. You are the son of Zeus. Lead your men where Philip never could. Conquer Persia and beyond. It is your destiny.
Alexander is ruthless against Darius and the Persians, and he seizes the moment and takes decisive action.
You underestimated Alexander. We are Persians. We do not cower. We do not panic.
I'm coming for you. And your throne.
Yeah, he was stirred up. This is Isaiah 40. This is Isaiah 45. No, excuse me. I thought I had something here. So yeah, going back to this Daniel 8 and 5. So the goat from the west was the Greeks coming from Macedon, and then the notable horn was Alexander. Verse 6, and he came, and he was a notable horn because he was the head guy. He was the chief. He was the prince or the king. And he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran into him in the fury of his rage. And I saw him come into the ram, and he was moved with choler against him. Choler means wrath. And smote the ram and brake his two horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. All right, so the Greeks took down the Medo-Persian Empire. Verse 8, therefore the he-goat waxed very great. Come on, Alexander the Great. Come on, you can't make that up. He waxed very great, Alexander and the Greeks. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken, for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. So let's get the horn, the great horn being broken. All right, because it says when he was strong. So in his glory, he became strong, and then he was broken. He ended up dying. So we can back that point up because this history is all here in the script. So just Lord willing, this be edifying to any sincere believers that might come across it. First Maccabees 1 in the Apocrypha. So verse 7 is pretty much the example of what that said. It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then he died. So he reigned, he was strong those 12 years, and then him being that horn, it was broken. He died. So let's start at the top. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, or Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. Now keep in mind, again, the Medo-Persian Empire was a large empire that outnumbered the Macedonians. You see, and that goes to show you, because even in Maccabees, it talks about that, how the Lord, what account was that? You had the Greeks that sent them generals, Nicanor and all them, and Jake was like, they outnumbering us. And then I think it was Maccabees, Judas Maccabees, who was basically telling them it ain't about the number. It ain't about who got the most numbers, because that ain't nothing. And even in the Netflix, that's how Darius them was. They was like, we got the numbers, we got the men. But for some reason, Alexander kept getting the win, and the reason is because the Most High was with him. So it says, verse 2, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So this goes into, and it came up four notable ones here in Daniel 8 and 8. And for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of the heaven. So this is prophecy of the servants who bear rule everyone in his place. You know, his servants that were brought up with him from his youth that he parted the kingdoms with. So, yeah, man. So this is all prophecy. And when you look at the time period here from the Maccabees and Daniel, we're talking about Daniel was around in 500 something, 600 something, 500 something BC. And then the Maccabees, this was written 100 something BC. So we're talking about this happened about 400 years later. No. Actually, this didn't happen. This Alexander was around in 300 something BC. So the time period between Alexander and Daniel was probably about 100, 200 years. And it was recorded here in Maccabees in 100 something BC. It was, this written. But so that prophecy came to pass a few generations later, less than 250, 300 years. So, this is just all proof, man, that this is all here. And that I was just having this conversation with somebody, you really can't escape your destiny, because the Most High had everyone here for a reason, for a purpose. All right, Jeremiah 1 and 5. Then said I, Lord God, no, excuse me. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Start at 4. Then the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet to the nations. So before we came out the belly, the Lord knew our spirits because he's known as the Father of spirits. He created all of our spirits through the only begotten Son, which was the first spirit created, which was Yahushua. All right, so he indirectly created all of us. Yahushua created us, but the Most High created Yahushua, and it's like the Most High. Well, if Yahushua did him, the Most High know. So it's like, we all are here, to fulfill the will of the Lord. So none of us can escape the prophecies. Alexander couldn't escape that destiny because he was prophesied to come and do what he did. You know what I'm saying? So, Esau is here doing what he was prophesied to do. We doing what we prophesied to do. Chant down Babylon, warn the people about the chip and everything. And so mighty, wonderful, beautiful work by the Lord of hosts, man, a man of war. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. My prayer was edifying lesson. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Shalom.